Hi knitters, welcome back to Aro Knits and Purls. I'm your host, Aro of Aro Knits and Purls. As always, you can find my Ravelry, Instagram, Ko-Fi, Patreon linked in the description below, as well as links to any dyers, makers, designers that I talk about in today's episode. And in case you're wondering what the heck is on my head, it is a very cute little doggy birthday hat. A dog wearing a birthday hat on my birthday hat. It's not actually my birthday. If you're new to me as a person, I told you guys last episode, I have what people call big Leo energy. I personally don't subscribe to horoscopes and stuff like that, but I think for people who don't subscribe to horoscopes and things like that, the way I would describe my vibe is main character syndrome. So my birthday is the last day of July, and since I was a child, the idea was, oh, well, since my birthday is the very last day of July, that means the entire month should be my birthday. So I celebrate me for the entire month of July. And here we are 4 days in, so I'm doing it. I haven't treated myself to a lot of yarn. I have some yarn to show you, not a lot, because you guys saw last episode, I, strictly speaking, just have way too much yarn now. It's so much. I have to bust my butt to get through even some of it. But anyway, yeah, not a lot of yarn, but I have been treating myself to little things. Like I bought myself a really cute mug, and I got myself this adorable, delicate little necklace from a local jeweler. Nothing fancy, but something a little bit cute to brighten up my day. And that's kind of, I'm taking this off now because I feel ridiculous. That's kind of just the vibe that I have been trying to embody definitely since my mom's passing, that even if it's a small thing, anything to brighten my day is worth doing. And I hope you guys incorporate that energy too, because life is too short and too sad to let it stay sad. You just gotta find things to keep you going. Anyway, there's lots of things to talk about. First, let me get into the yarn. So the first dyer that I'm going to show you guys was this was a custom order from last month from someone I really admire. Her name is Elise. She's in Canada, and she is better known as Sunday Fibre Co. So I have talked about her yarn many times, and you may be doing a double take because this yarn looks suspiciously like what I'm wearing now. That's because it is this exact yarn that I'm wearing now. The exact yarn, even the same base. So this colorway is called Twilight, and this base is 100% untreated merino, extra fine merino wool. So it is very soft to the touch. Even though it is untreated, it is so soft because of the extra fineness. I think there's like a word for like the individual fibers in a strand or something, like microns. I don't know. I am not that big of a yarn nerd, you guys. Like, I love different dyers because of their like color theory and aesthetic. I love making stuff with it, but in terms of like the science behind it, I am not your gal. You can find other people who specialize in that. It is not me. I barely know what I'm talking about. Like you'll see later on, yeah, I barely know anything, and I really should do more research, but that's not what draws me into yarn and draws me into knitting, so I'm not going to talk about it because it's not my thing. But it's super soft. That's what you need to know. Even though it's untreated, it's super soft. I love it. This is her fingering weight. She has many bases, but this is one of her fingering weights. And let me just show you, move my hair out of the way. This is the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. And I test knit this for her last year. And if you guys remember from last year, if you were around then, I didn't have enough yarn. So she originally designed this with like an I-cord detail, but I didn't have enough yarn for the I-cord detail, either on the sleeves or the body. And the body is way more cropped than I want it to be. I want at least 1.5 inches. I had like this much yarn left over after casting off on the sleeve and body. So I had nothing. And so I wore it, and I've worn this a lot. Like you guys, if you watch my stories, I wear this to the office like so often, because it really is just so comfortable. It is classic silhouette, but still like edgy enough to be contemporary with the croppedness. Again, I wanted a little less crop, but it's just a beautiful silhouette. And the finishing details are so clean. I just love this top. But like I said, I wanted it to look complete. And like the rolled hem is fine sometimes, but I personally don't like it. I want an I-cord detail so it lays flat instead of rolling up at certain times. So I ordered enough for a full-length sweater in this, but also an extra skein so that I could add the details and length that I want, because I love this top and now it'll be absolutely perfect. And I'm very excited for that. But this is the very first time in my life I have ordered the same exact yarn on the same exact base for a main color. So I will often use my scraps from other projects that were the main color for the contrast color on another project. I like to use up my scraps that way. But this is the first time I've ever been like, no, this colorway is so good that I want this on a whole other sweater, like as the main color. Because this colorway is one of my favorite colorways of all time. It is just so classic and beautiful. It looks pink and gray and beige at the same time, all at the same time. It is just so stunning and flattering and classy. Like, I cannot say enough good things about this colorway. And again, it's called Twilight. I'm obsessed with this colorway. Like, it's so dang good. Elise is just the sweetest person. She's so genuine and she respects herself to such an extent. Like, she has very healthy boundaries. And I really admire anyone who can incorporate boundaries into their life because that's something I really, really struggled with in developing myself as an adult. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. Yeah, so as an adult, that's something I've really struggled with, and she seems to have great boundaries on social media. And you guys, if you were around when I was like, oh shoot, now my profile is getting like too big for me to like, yeah, boundaries are new to me. I'm working on it. So I admire the heck out of her. And she just had a baby, a beautiful baby, and she still did this dye job for me while she was pregnant. Like, oh my goodness, what a woman warrior. Like, she's amazing and she's so sweet. She's based in Canada, so if you are a Canadian viewer, hi up there. I hope you're enjoying your free healthcare. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, a little bit of Canada humor. Okay. She's based in Canada, so if you are a Canadian viewer, please support Elise, Sunday Fibre Co. She has beautiful colorways. Even if you're not in Canada, she offers flat rate shipping to the US, I think for $10 Canadian dollars, so like $8 in US dollars. I don't know the conversion. I'm not really good at that. But rest assured, like, it's so worth it. You guys know I do not like paying for international shipping. I hate it. But for Elise's yarn, I will, and I have multiple times because she is worth buying from every single time. Look at that. And she also does variegated colors, including, but not exclusive to, this one. This is called Peony Season, again, by Sunday Fibre Co., Elise of Sunday Fibre Co. And this is on her organic worsted base. So it's called Homebody Organic Worsted. This is 100% organic merino wool, and it's eco superwash. So superwash gets like a really, really bad rap, and I understand that there are some environmental costs to superwash. There are certain methods which are more environmentally friendly. This uses the more environmentally friendly ones. Instead of treating the fibers themselves with microplastics to get that smoothness, instead of microplastics, it's just chemicals. And I know, like, hearing chemicals like sends immediate red flags up to people. Not every chemical is harmful. Like, there are naturally occurring chemicals, and like, chemical itself is just a term, like a scientific term for like, anyway. I don't want to get into it. I'm not a science person. Like I said, I don't even know yarn science, and I've been knitting for very soon 15 years. But there are ecologically responsible forms of superwash. So I don't like that snobbery of people just immediately saying, no, that's bad, don't do that. I don't like to tell anybody what to do. If you want superwash, this is a really good way to do it. Elise carries like all of her bases have some environmentally friendly aspect to it, and that's another reason why I admire her so much. Like her business philosophy is reflected in her products, and I think that's really important, to stand for what you believe in. And it's really cool to see a woman doing that, running a business, having a baby. Like, I don't know how y'all do it. I'm barely keeping myself alive, it feels like. But anyway, yeah, love her. 100% worth the shipping. Another person worth the international shipping is Bien Aimee. Y'all know I love LBA. LBA is one of the indie dyers who I like coveted for many, many years. And this was before she got a lot of US stockists. I think now she has more US stockists, so it's easier if you're outside of Europe to get your hands on her yarn, which is amazing for me, because beforehand I would just be like, when am I ever gonna buy LBA? Now there are a lot of yarn stores that carry her, and I've mentioned a few of them in past episodes. They're great. This one was not carried in a stockist. This one was ordered directly from her website. So my friends Megan, Shanna, and I split a huge order of LBA's newest Cory Confetti colorway, which is Aimee's Peach Cardigan, I think? Aimee's Peach Sweater. This is the first dye lot. Number 1, yay! Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar, remember I talked about Corriedale in last week's episode? Yeah, I guess it was just last week. So Corriedale is a type of sheep. I explained that it has a natural heathering look, but it is soft, but it's not as soft as merino. But it has this gorgeous natural looking heather, but it doesn't feel super rustic. It's still soft to the touch, which makes it good for me, a person who cannot work with rough yarn. And Cory is a good middle ground for people like me. Cory Confetti incorporates recycled natural fibers. See these beautiful colory tweedy bits? Those are recycled as part of the milling process and then incorporated in this main yarn. And this colorway is her brand new one. She just released it, and it is Aimee's Peach Sweater. Yeah, Aimee's Peach Sweater. And it does have this beautiful peachy tone to the base. As a comparison, I brought out my Hedgehog Fiber Tweedy. So obviously you can see Tweedy is a lot more gray. It does have a slightly pink tone to it, but much less noticeable than this one, obviously. And the tweed bits are different colors. Like, I think this one incorporates more like harsh neon, but it works with a really light base. Also, it's a different weight. So this one is technically a DK. I've worked it with it before, and it felt a little bit more like a light DK than a true DK. This one is a worsted, maybe a heavy DK, but definitely flirting more with the worsted. They're both beautiful. I haven't worked with this one yet, but this one worked up beautifully, and I cannot imagine this will work up any less beautifully. I'm really excited about it. And those labels are just so stunning. Like, that's a statement piece right there. And Cory Confetti is an exclusive base to Aimee. It's one of a kind, limited edition. She doesn't do these updates very often. She only has this, I think this is the 3rd colorway in the Cory Confetti series. So I feel really, really lucky to have some of the first batch. Like, seeing that number 1, I don't know why, but it made me feel special. And I know lots of you guys out there are gonna have this as well, but know that we're special together, okay? Yeah. Really excited about that one. And LBA, if you guys weren't around last year, okay, let me start over. LBA, Aimee, is one of those dyers that I've admired for a really, really long time. And I loved her sense of color. I loved her sense of fashion. It was really inspiring to me. It wasn't until later, after I'd already admired her, that I found out that she was also Korean. She is a Korean woman. Well, she grew up in the States, and she now lives in France with her family, but her heritage is Korean. And I remember I was so excited about that I told my mom about it. And my mom didn't really understand the concept of knitting community. Like, she didn't get it at all. because her only experience with community was like in person. You have your church community, you have your PTA, but you do not, like, the idea of building an online community to her was very foreign. And I remember when I hit 1,000 followers on my Instagram, and I was so excited, and I told her about it, and she was like, there are 1,000 people that want to see your photos of your knitting? Like, what? She was just like, she could not comprehend that that was out there, that niche was out there, right? And I remember when I told her I hit 3,000, and she was just like blown away. She could not believe. And I think if she was around now, like when I hit 10K, I immediately wanted to tell her about it because it was such a huge milestone for me, and to not have her around for that was, like, it sounds silly, but it would have meant a lot to me to be able to tell her that. Because she's the one who taught me to knit, right, when I was 9 years old. And I told her about LBA, and she was really intrigued and excited to hear that someone who is basically like the indie dyeing community scion to me, like she was the end all be all. LBA, Aimee, still is. She's one of those people, if I met, like, I would absolutely just like cry a little bit, and like I hope that's not embarrassing if I ever do meet her, but I will definitely cry. But yeah, I remember telling my mom, and she was like, oh, she's Korean, and she's like super successful, and she just does this for a living, and she was just like so intrigued by it. And my mom was one of those Korean, it happens a lot with older generation. Whenever another Korean is successful, it reflects on us as a people. So even though they know nothing about what they do, it filled my mom with pride, and I liked seeing my mom like that. So it just meant a lot to share something about someone, you know. I told her about Aimee, and it was about something I loved really, really much, very much. My mom, even though she taught me to knit, she was never really into knitting herself. Like she learned from like home economics in school, so it just for her to show interest in something that I loved was really a special moment for me. And that's why when I first was hit with my first inspiration for my first design last year, I reached out to LBA first. I thought it was a Hail Mary. I thought it was never going to happen, but she was actually more than willing to help support it, and it meant a lot. And some life stuff happened, got in the way of me making the timeline that I originally envisioned. You guys remember last year I ended my really long-term but really, really toxic former relationship. I don't want to go into the details of that, just because it's not that I want to keep secrets from you guys. I feel like you already know so much about me that some things should be kept off my channel, right? Anyway, yeah, I got out of that really bad relationship, and I focused a lot more on rebuilding my life and me as a person, and the design kind of fell to the wayside, especially when I hit a snag in the construction, and I realized, like, there's no freaking way I want to do this, because the original idea was a cardigan, and y'all know I don't even like making cardigans. I like pullovers. I like just one piece pullovers. And so I was like, no, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do something that I want to make again and again, and that's a pullover. So I have gone back to the design. I've reincorporated it into another type, which is a pullover. But I was then hit by a second design idea, like stroke of lightning it came. And that was just a few weeks ago. For my Patreons, you guys get an exclusive little sneak peek at what the second design looks like. It's a very small little sneak peek, but it is exclusive to Patreons, and that's just to thank you guys for sticking with me. Like I said, last year was really, really rough in many parts, and you guys truly helped support me at a time when I needed it most. And I just wanted to do a little thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm not making a lot of sense. Anyway, back to Chipper Aro. The sneak peek of the design, I don't want to get into it now, but I will say it's very me. It's very me. You guys, once I have the first sample knit up, you guys are going to see it and go, yeah, I could have told you like 100 yards away that was an RO design, I think. The first colorway or palette that I've picked, I'm starting tonight. I've written it down. I'm going to cast on tonight, so we'll see if it goes well. But this is the first palette. I've shown you, I think, all of these yarns at one point. This yarn, these two, are BFL Tough Sock from LBA. Obviously, all of this is LBA. This is the colorway Ichigo. Ichigo is Japanese for strawberry. I got it on my Austin trip. This colorway is Dawn on her silk mohair base. And I've said it many a time, and I will say it many a more. LBA's mohair is my favorite mohair of all time. It's just shinier than anyone else's. It is softer than anyone else's. And the halo is more delicate than anyone else's. I don't know where she gets her base from, but I know it's the best because I have worked, you guys, with a lot of mohair. And this, hands down, is my favorite. And I'm just really excited. I'm really excited. I'm gonna cast on. I'm so excited. I just wanted to show you guys before I wound it up because I'm gonna wind like literally right after I record this video. The second palette, because this design, I'm even more excited about it than the first design because this design like immediately got my mind just like jumping with all the possibilities. It's an opportunity to be really creative with your color choices, which and use up your stash. I'm really excited about it, you guys. This is the second palette. I also got this from Austin as well. This is again her BFL Tough Sock base, but the colorway is Tickle, and it's a beautiful minty pastel variegated. It's just stunning. And this middle one is also her silk mohair, and that colorway is called Hegelia, and it's this beautiful deep sky blue. Deep sky blue? Does that make sense? I have 50 words for pink. I don't have 50 words for blue. It's blue. It's not my specialty. I don't work a lot with blue, but this version is very relaxing and calming to me. And like I said last episode, I could always use a little bit more of that. And I really love it. I'm so excited. I am gonna do the pink version first, just because, you know, me, pink, it just made sense. So I can't wait to show you guys more. I'm really excited about it. In terms of finished objects, I have just the one. I finished my little tank top. It worked up so quick, you guys. For those of you who need a reminder, this is the George's top by Kolibri, and again, it's going to be linked below. You will remember the big giant bow version I had in the dusky artichoke color. This is sunflower in the same yarn, knitting for Olive Pure Silk, held double, but this time I decided to mod it. I originally was just going to do smaller bows, but then I was like, wait, smaller and thinner. So I decided to do an I-cord instead of a knit strap like the pattern originally calls for. And the mod was super simple. All I did was I kept decreasing until I hit 5 stitches. And this is a 5-stitch I-cord. Normally I-cords are known to be 3 stitches, 4 stitches at most, at least from patterns I've seen. But the 5-stitch I-cord is just a little bit more substantial. And I think it looks beautiful like this. I'm really excited about it. It's super comfortable to wear. I did size down this time because the size I knit in the Dusty Artichoke version, the green one, it was just a little bit bigger than I wanted. And this one is the size medium, so it's the perfect size for me. I'm really happy about it. Like I said, the mod was super simple. I only used less than 3 skeins for the size medium. You could use 3 skeins for the size large as well. I don't think you would need a 4th skein at all. Yeah, I have to knit up the mod. I will write it up once I finish the Ravelry page for this one. And all my projects are listed on my Ravelry, unless it's a secret test knit. Those don't get updated, those don't get put on Ravelry until the release. But everything is current on my Rav as far as I know right now. So yeah, Love this one. It was so quick, you guys, so quick. You could do this in 5 days at most. Even if you're a slow knitter, like if you get home from work and you knit on that, 5 days, easy. And this one has progressed quite a bit in this past week. This was a good week in terms of knitting productivity. This is my Brooklyn Raglan by ToriKnits. And I showed you guys this last time. I had like pretty much just separated for sleeves, and the body, I banged that out, and the sleeve, first sleeve is done. I've started the second sleeve. The sleeve, as the pattern calls for, is decreased along, and you just do a straight knit rib on the bottom. But I decided to do the more voluminous sleeve that I prefer. All I do for that is I knit straight on the sleeve until I hit the length that I want to fit my small short arms. And then I just knit 2 across the entire row, so it creates that decrease. It's a dramatic decrease, and that's how you get the little cinch look. And then I just rib. It's super simple. It's a super easy modification on like any sweater sleeve, honestly. And I really love the way it looks. This one also calls for decreasing, or rather short rows. Sorry, I'm gonna move the sleeve so it's not like choking me like an anaconda. So you use short rows to do this kind of high-low hem detail. It's hard to see now because I haven't blocked it out, but you'll see that curvature. And I decided to do more short rows on the back part of it because I wanted it to be a little bit longer to cover my butt. But it's really beautiful. Like, that curve is subtle, but it's definitely going to be more pronounced once I block it. And I thought it was just a really cute detail. The neckline is a bit large. Normally, to combat that, I would give you the advice to mod it by like doing a longer rib band and then folding it over, so that way when you fold something over, it like sucks it in, so it's closer to your neck. The only issue with making that modification on this one is the ribbing. Actually, if you look on the back, it's thicker than in the front because the ribbing incorporates short rows. So if you wanted to do a fold over neckband on the ribbing part, you would have to do some thinking about it because of the short rows. I can't tell you how to do it because I haven't tried it with a short row neck. I prefer looser necks. I'm one of those people that hates things tight around their neck, so I can't tell you how to make that mod, but if you do choose to make that mod, be aware that there are short rows around the ribbing, so it may throw off your original plans. That's all I'm saying. Again, this is House of a la Mode Tweed, House Tweed DK. And yes, I did pick out a lot of tweed. I didn't save them up. My friend like suggested that I should have, like, once I was already done, basically. And I was like, that's a great idea. Next time I work with a tweed project where I'm not happy with the tweed dispersion, and that's not an issue with House of a la Mode's tweed base. It's just, so fingering tweed base, I found, has more delicate tweed dispersal. Tweed DK is pretty aggressive in the tweed dispersals. So that's why I picked a lot of it out. But it's still definitely a tweed sweater. Like, you would look at it and go, oh yeah, that's a tweed sweater, right? It's just, I wanted it a little bit more light, a diet tweed, if you will. But House of a la Mode, Tweed DK, the colorway Aztec, and it is this gorgeous chocolatey orange reddish sweater. I am in love. I can't wait to wear this. It is very hot out these days, so I'm not going to wear it anytime soon. For finished object photos, I think what I'll do is probably drive up the canyons to like go to the mountaintops and find some cooler areas, because it is quite cool if you go all the way up to the mountains. And I think that's what I'm gonna have to do, because this guy, she a thick boy. Yeah, but I'm really excited about it. Yeah. And the last whip that I have to show you is one that's pretty recent. This is the newest Jessie Mae pattern. And right now it doesn't look like anything but a raglan with an unfinished neck. So it doesn't have a finished neckline. It's just gonna be a rolled neckline. It will lay a lot flatter once I block it. And it looks so ridiculous, like wrinkly right now, because that's the quality of this yarn that I'm using. I am using Terrapin Fibers Severn DK base. Severn DK is 100% Tencel. Tencel is, okay, so I've been wrong about Tencel before. like superwash techniques, there is more than one kind I'm discovering. There is a synthetic tencel and there is a plant-based tencel. Terrapin Fibers uses plant-based yarns. So her tencel is made from eucalyptus plant fiber, if I'm remembering correctly. It is definitely a plant fiber, but I'm pretty sure it was eucalyptus. So that's why it has this really high sheen like linen does. And like linen, it looks wrinkly when it's not blocked out because it will develop this beautiful drape. Linen has this quality as well. Like before you block it out, you're just like, what the heck is this? What am I gonna do? It's like all kinky and stiff, but it drapes beautifully once you block it and softens more with wear. I will say tencel, I prefer over linen because it has that summer fiber feel. It's not hot in my hands at all, but it's softer in my hands than linen. So remember I talked about that linen callus that I get? I do not get it with the tencel. The tencel is very soft. It also doesn't dry out my hands like cotton does. So if you are someone who found linen too rough, but want to experiment with a summer fiber, I really can't recommend this enough. Also, Terrapin Fibers has a new colorway out called Red Onion. It's this beautiful light pinkish purple base, high sheen because of the tencel. If you get it on tencel, she offers cotton, but you know I'm not going to get cotton. But anyway, it's this beautiful, beautiful light pink with like bright purple spots that are the exact color of Red Onion, hence the name. And it's just so beautiful. I don't know if I'm just a freak, but I've often thought about how stunning Red Onion looks. You know, like it's just such a beautiful color. I don't know if that makes me weird. I'm sure other people thought it too. I know one other person did because she made this colorway, right? It's just so gorgeous. And I want that desperately, but y'all know from my Denver haul last episode, I do not need more yarn. I'm not inviting more yarn in my life. Like, we're good. We're happy. We're sated. We're just trying to use up some stuff. But this Severn Tencel DK is so beautiful. I am really excited. As for the design, it's a raglan. It just looks like a raglan right now because this is the outline raglan. What's going to happen is there's a stitch here that's going to get dropped and it goes all the way down, not just the raglan to create a normal eyelet raglan detail. This raglan, or this eyelet that's going to happen will go all the way down and not just straight down the body like the outline tank. It will actually curve. It will curve towards the front, creating almost this like geometric design on the fronts and backs. And the way that it works is with cleverly placed decreases with increases on the other side so the sweater itself doesn't, decrease. It's really beautiful. I can't wait to show you guys more. If you missed out on that Jessie Mae call, sign up for her newsletter and sign up for designer newsletters if you are trying to get more into test knits. A lot of the big designers especially run their test knits via newsletter because they can't do DM calls. They're just too many followers, too many people on Instagram that will respond. So the newsletter is the best way for big designers to do it. So I am on several newsletters, and that's how you get on really high in demand test knits. And I have applied for many Jessie Mae test knits. This is only the second one I've ever been in, and I'm like stupid excited about it. That's why I've been working on it pretty quickly. I'm just over the moon that I was chosen again because she's one of those designers that I have long admired. She's just so talented, funny, beautiful. Her aesthetic is just double chef's kiss. Yeah, it's so good. Can't wait to show you guys more of that too. It's really gonna be beautiful. Right now it doesn't look like anything, but I think I'm gonna get through this pretty quick, especially at the rate I'm going. I just cast this on a couple days ago, so that's why I say that. I hope you guys are enjoying your week, your day, your month, whatever. My birthday month. I hope you're enjoying my birthday month, bringing it back to me. I've been through some stuff over the past couple years that you guys have been party to a lot of. I haven't told you guys everything because you don't need to know everything. Some people genuinely come to me for an escape, and I don't want to take that space away from you, right? But just know that I am immensely grateful to every single one of you, no matter how you consume my content. I do appreciate it. And thank you for sticking through with me when I've been more messy than not. And I hope you enjoy my birthday month. I'll see you guys next time.